Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Thank you guys so much for tuning in because I know you guys are dying to see what my TBR is for this autumn Halloween season. So I have quite a big TBR, and if you know me, you know I never read for my TBR, but I am forcing myself to do that this year, at least this fall season, because I have so many good books that give me that cozy fall feeling, but also spooky, scary feeling. Did pull most of these books from my own collection, but I also went to my local library yesterday and I acquired a few there too. Not that I didn't have enough, but I was looking for more cozier books because I own a lot of mystery thriller, and I also want something to make me smile, right? I don't want to be spooked the entire fall season. So I will go ahead and start with the books that I got from the library. Only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I got 6 books from the library. My library surprisingly had a lot of good books, and I don't mean surprising in a bad way, but it was my first time going there, and it's a very small library, so I didn't expect to find much, but I spent I think 3 hours there just looking through everything they had, and I found quite a bit. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. So the first one I picked was A 7-Year Slip, and this is a romance that I've been dying to read, and I honestly don't know if this is a fall themed book, but to me it doesn't really matter. The colors of the book scream fall to me, and who doesn't love a cozy romance? So I'm sure a lot of you have already read this book, but if you didn't, I'll go ahead and kind of give you a little synopsis about what each one is. And also, I don't normally read what the book is about. I always go in blindsided, but I did end up reading some of these because I really wanted to see if it's what I was looking for. So for The 7-Year Slip, sometimes the worst day of your life happens and you have to figure out how to live after it. For Clementine West, that means burying her head in her work as a book publicist, being practical and forgetting the silly things her beloved aunt Amelia taught her, like living wide and chasing the moon. Clementine would rather stay grounded and keep her heart safe. For the last 6 months, she's done just that. But when she moves into her late aunt's apartment and finds a strange man sitting in the kitchen, a man with kind eyes, a southern drawl, and a taste for lemon pies, her well-laid plans begin to fall apart. Because he's the type of man who, before it all, she would have fallen head over heels for, and she still might. Except he exists in the past, 7 years in the past to be exact. And she quite literally lives 7 years in his future. Her aunt always said the apartment was a pinch in time, a place where moments blended like watercolor. She also said that love is never a matter of time, but a matter of timing. And Clementine fears she may be 7 years too late. So this isn't your typical romance. As you heard, this has a little bit of magic sprinkled into it, which is one of the main reasons why I chose this one. Yeah, that sounds so cute and so excited. I can't wait to read this. I've heard really good things about it. So this was actually the first one I picked out in the library, and as soon as I saw the cover, I'm like, this is what I came here for. So this book is called The Spell Shop. Tell me that is not the cutest, most adorable cottagecore fantasy, adorable, the vibes are there. So it says, it takes a village to open a heart and just one man to steal it. So I'll just read a little bit of the synopsis. So this is a lush cottagecore tale full of stolen spell books, unexpected friendships, sweet jams, and even sweeter love. So it's like a fantasy romance, but not like a fantasy like vampires, dragons, that type of thing. It's like, I see a little cat with wings. How's that not cute? This is also a new release. So most of the ones I got were new releases. This one came out this year, so what better time to read that, right? This next one has been on my TBR forever, and I've been dying to read it, and it's not really fall or autumn coded. I mostly liked it for the color, but I've also heard really good things about it, and I feel like this is gonna be a good emotional journey of a book, of a read. So this will be more of like a more serious book, should I say. But I did get Yellow Face. Everyone and their mother I know has already read it. I'm one of the last people who haven't read it, so I'm so excited for this one. Okay, the next one, I've been dying to read Practical Magic, because that's one of my all-time favorite Halloween witchy magic movies, and little did I know there's a prequel to Practical Magic. Alice Hoffman actually came out with a prequel and a sequel to Practical Magic. So my library had the prequel, so I said, why don't I just read it in chronological order versus when the book's released. So this is the prequel. It's kind of the history that Practical Magic kind of sprinkles in about the whole Salem witch trials and everything. So that is what this book is about. So that's gonna be exciting. Okay, next, like I said, I got a lot of books. So I got one of Riley Sager's newest releases. This is Middle of the Night, and I just read in my last vlog, if you saw it or if you have not seen it, I just read House Across the Lake by Riley Sager, and that was actually a pretty good thriller. So I'm excited to read this one. This one I've heard is really good. So in the latest jaw-dropping thriller from New York Times bestselling author, a man must contend with the long-ago disappearance of his childhood best friend and the dark secrets lurking just beyond the safe confines of his picture-perfect neighborhood. So it's about a little boy that goes missing in the 90s, and the back even says it has a lot of 90s nostalgia, so this should be a cozy, spooky read. I'm so excited. Like I said, House Across the Lake had some plot twists that I didn't see coming, so I'm excited to see how this book plays out. Last one, as you can see, I have a bookmark. I already started reading, so I went in hoping to find the famous pumpkin spice cafe type book. My library doesn't have that one, and I'm in a waiting list on my Kindle. On the Libby app, it says it'll deliver to me in like 13 or so weeks. I'll probably end up just buying it if I see it before that, because I don't think I'm gonna wait until Christmas time to get that. I wanted to find like a cozy mystery, like those bakery, coffee house, murder type books, the ones that are like 50 or so books in the series. And I actually did find one that sounded cute. So this is part of the Coffee House Mystery series by Cleo Coyle. Honestly, this only has like a couple thousand reviews on Goodreads, so these aren't that popular, but it just sounded so cute. I'm already 50 pages in, and it's actually pretty good. You don't really need to read any of the other books in the series. It kind of gives you like a quick recap of who the characters are and stuff like that at the beginning, so you're not lost or anything. But the story itself is really good. So like I said, it's a mystery. It's based around this whole coffee house vibes. So the whole premise of the book is Clara, the main character, loses her memory after being abducted, and they're kind of trying to figure out how she got abducted, why she got abducted. She lost her memory the last 15 years, so she only has recollection of recently getting a divorce, her daughter being 11 years old, and not knowing who this Detective Quinn is. Well, in the present time, she's engaged to Detective Quinn. She's been divorced for 15 years. She's now like friendly with her ex-husband, whereas when she first got divorced, where she thinks she's at right now, she hates his guts so much. And then her daughter's now in her 20s. So this is a really interesting book. Like I said, I don't really need to read the others, but if it turns out to be a really cute, cozy read like I think it's gonna be, I'll probably end up reading more books in the series. I think there's about 20 or so books. I think this is number 15 or 18. Okay, so that was it for my library books. I already started one. I'm most likely going to be reading those first because I'm on a time crunch, but I do have a good stack of books from my own collection that I really want to read this fall / Halloween time. So I'll start with my more spooky books. For my first really spooky book, I have chosen Ruth Rare's In a Dark, Dark Wood, and the book doesn't tell me anything about what it's about other than Reese Witherspoon said it prepared to be scared, really scared. It also says to read on a stormy night with all the lights on, so this is giving all the spooky vibes. And I've heard Ruth Rare is a really good author. I haven't read any of her books, but I do know she's really famous for The Woman in Cabin 10, but she has so many books, so I'm excited to finally get into one of her books and see if I like her writing style, because I love all my mystery thrillers. So the next one is Greg Olson's If You Tell, and this is actually based on a true story, so how much spookier can that get? It says it's a true story of murder, family secrets, and the unbreakable bond of sisterhood. And just the cover itself, it's so like eerie and spooky. The true story of 3 young girls caught in the web of a coldly calculating killer, their mother. Okay, I'm not gonna read any further because I don't want to spoil anything, but this is scary, guys. Okay, next, I think this is more of like a funnier or more wittier thriller, but this is Richard Osman's The Thursday Murder Club, and I just love the cover itself. It's very retro-y, I guess I would say. I really don't know how to explain it other than I love it. In a peaceful retirement village, 4 unlikely friends meet up once a week to investigate unsolved murders. It's kind of giving me the building of what's that show with Selena Gomez? The murders in the building, something like that. But when a brutal killing takes place on their very doorstep, the Thursday Murder Club find themselves in the middle of their first live case. Elizabeth, Joyce, Abraham, and Ron might be pushing 80, but they still have a few tricks up their sleeves. Can our orthodox but brilliant gang catch the killer before it's too late? Oh my god, this is about old people. How adorable. So yeah, I'm excited to read this. And then I, of course, had to include one of Gillian Flynn's books. So this one is Dark Places. I just read Sharp Objects a few months ago, and I love that. And I still need to watch the show because I heard that's also a really good adaptation of the book. But I haven't read anything about this one, and I'm not going to because I really love Gillian Flynn's writing. I don't want to spoil anything, and they actually get me really, really good. So I'm excited to read this one. Lastly, my first ever horror book that I'm going to read. I'm not a horror girly at all. If anything, I kind of stray away from that because I'm afraid of being too spooked, but I thought the perfect first book to get into the horror genre, in case I do like it, is The Shining by Stephen King. The Shining is one of my favorite movies, and like I said, I'm not really a horror girly, so I don't love watching scary movies, but for some reason I really love The Shining. It wasn't like any other scary movie that I've seen. It's one of my favorites, and I just love the storyline and how everything unfolded. It was just a really good story, so I thought, why not read the book, because it might even be better than the movie. And another reason why I want to read this is because Friends is one of my favorite shows, and Joey and Rachel read The Shining in the show, and they throw it in the freezer because they're spooked. So I want to see if I end up throwing mine in the freezer. Yeah, I'm so excited to read this, and that concludes my thrillers. So next up we have cozy, kind of like more cottagecore books. So I have Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies, and this was a JoJo book by its cover purchase. This is just so cute, and I've actually heard really cute things about this. And I want to say this is a series, but guys, these deckled edges, we love that. We love to see that. Next, kind of similar vibes, we have The Lost Apothecary. This one doesn't have that great of reviews, but like I said, I try not to focus too much on how people review things because my opinion ends up being sometimes very different than them. So I just thought this was a really cute book. The cover is super cute. There's a little beetle on the back. Again, don't really know what it's about, but it's about an apothecary. How cute. Next, we have Cleopatra and Frankenstein by Coco Mellors. So it's about a 24-year-old British painter, Cleo, who has escaped from England to New York and is still finding her place in the sleepless city when a few months before her student visa ends, she meets Frank. 20 years older and a self-made success, Frank's life is full of all the excesses Cleo lacks. He offers her the chance to be happy, the freedom to paint, and the opportunity to apply for a green card. But their impulsive marriage irreversibly changes both their lives and the lives of those close to them in ways they never could have predicted. So honestly, I just picked this because it mentions Frankenstein, and Frankenstein is very Halloween coded. But it's just like a modern day romance, so another romance to the list. And then next, we have a book that I've been holding off on reading because I don't want to be in a depressive rut. The last book that really broke my heart and took me on a very, very sad and depressing emotional journey was A Little Life. And I had that book for ages, for I think 5 years, on my bookshelf, just sitting there taunting me. And I finally was brave enough to read it, and I think about that book every day. It's just so sad. So I know this isn't the same topic or anything, but I know this is also a very sad book. This is Kristen Hannah's The Nightingale. I've been reading very superficial emotional books, I should say, so this is one that's going to be very deep and hitting my heart probably every time I pick it up and read it. But the cover itself is so beautiful. It's raining on Paris, and I've heard so many good things about this book. But again, like I said, I've been successful in not crying for a book for the last 6 months, so this may break that streak. So with this one, if you don't know, it's about World War II. And The Nightingale tells the stories of two sisters separated by years and experienced by ideals, passion, and circumstance, each embarking on her own dangerous path towards survival, love, and freedom in German-occupied, war-torn France. A heartbreaking, beautiful novel that celebrates the resilience of the human spirit and the durability of woman. It is a novel for everyone, a novel for a lifetime. Okay, and lastly, guys, just for something fun and entertaining and something that I've wanted to do forever is get into the Harry Potter series. I've never seen the books, but I do love the movies, as cliche as that sounds. I only have the first two, but this will be a good test to see if I really want to get into the series. But I've heard nothing but great things about how fun and exhilarating, I should say, how fun these books are. And I love Harry, Ron, and Hermione, and it would just be really fun just to kind of go on that journey with them through a book. And I want to do like kind of like a challenge type thing where I finish one book and then watch the movie and then go from there. But I'm also afraid that I'm not gonna love the movies as much anymore, but it's okay. I still love the Twilight movies and I love the books more than I love the Twilight movies, but it's just like nostalgia, you know? So I have the first two, of course I'll finish it. I'll end up buying the rest of the collection, but the difficult part is, do I do it all in paperback? But I don't know if the last few are in paperback, or just buy the whole collection in hardcover. I'll most likely be reading library books first, the more not so scary ones in September, and then I'll get into the spooky ones in October and definitely read these closer to Halloween. But yeah, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I have 18 books on my TBR. Yeah, I have 2 months to try and read 18 books. I could for sure do half, but we'll see if we'll go through all of them. But it's a good stack to really pick from these next 2 months. I think I got a good variety of fantasy, mystery, romance, so I'll be very excited to get into these. I'll probably do a few reading vlogs where you guys will get to see my my recorded reactions of what I'm thinking so far on these books, because some of these books I'm really I'm looking forward to reading all of them, but some of these, like I said, I've had them on my bookshelves for months and years and I've just been dying to read them, so that is so exciting. And yay, we got through all of them. Hope you guys have a lovely day. Thanks for joining. If you haven't seen my other videos, it's just a couple reading vlogs. Go ahead and check those out. Thanks so much for joining and happy reading.